So moving on, we've seen the farmers, we've met some of the volunteers. We're now going to talk about the distributors. So we use two main distributors. Fair Share we use more or less all over the British Isles, but down in the south, sort of Cambridge and below, we use the Felix Project quite a lot. We've done quite a lot of work with the Felix Project, and one of the great things about them is they also have their own volunteers to help with gleaning. As you saw with the apple glean and one of the onion gleans and the leek glean for that matter. So it's a real good collaboration for us. So we put gleaning volunteers into the fields alongside the Felix Project volunteers, as well as some volunteers from an organisation called Still Good Food. So you can see in the middle of that image there's a TV screen with the Felix Project, and it says Still Good Food and Lions and the Felix Project. So this was a meeting we had recently in London at their Poplar depot to talk about improving our number of opportunities to go gleaning, but also maximising the opportunities. So I've talked before about the huge numbers of tons of food that is available and the relatively small amounts that we're gleaning. We think the amounts are large, a ton here, 2 tons there. In reality, the amount of food that is still left is staggering, and what we want to do as a group is collaborate to rescue more of this food and get it to people that need it. So one of the things about the Felix Project, and really is taken up on the 2 pictures on the right, and this was really impressive, they've got their own industrial kitchen at the Poplar depot, and they cook somewhere between 3,000 to 5,000 ready meals a day, and to do this they use a lot of volunteers, and they also engage with corporates. So the top right picture there, you can see people in blue. They are from a corporate business, so they're all there volunteering in the week to serve ready meals into pots ready to be distributed. Honestly, what they do is phenomenal. The food they make is so tasty. They serve the food free of charge to all of their staff and all of their volunteers every lunchtime. And the food that we sampled on the day was absolutely delicious. And this is the same food that they're packaging up to send out to people. So it's really good quality. But enough from me. It's time to meet Richard, and Richard's going to be interviewed by Lion Graham Ilsley from Dartford Lions. I hope you enjoy.
Good afternoon. Let me introduce Richard Smith, who's the Deputy Head of Supplies. I'm Graham Ilsley from the Lions organisation. Thank you for hosting us today, Richard. Could you tell me a little bit about the history of Felix and how you work?
Yeah, so we're just over 6 years old. We started in a small lock-up in Park Royal 6 years ago, and we have grown from there to having 4 depots across London, north, south, east and west, and a central London scheme, which is a green scheme. So that's all bicycles, walking,
Yes.
and electric vans.
Good.
So totally carbon neutral and central. We are here to meet the growing food poverty crisis that's gripping London as we speak, getting worse by the day. When I joined 3 years ago, we were distributing 6 million meals a year. We then did in 2020 21 million meals a year, and then last year we did 30 million meals a year.
It's marvellous, marvellous.
So we're growing year by year as best we can. We're trying to bring the infrastructure along with us as we go to ensure that we've got the facilities to be able to meet that growing need, and keep growing, basically, keep rescuing good food from farms all the way through to factories and shops, and get it out to those that need it across London. We work with 930 charities, growing by the week at the moment.
Yes, I can appreciate.
And 135 schools as of this morning, so we've started growing that. We were on 120 schools for a little period of time. We've got more investment in that area as of about 4 months ago. We're growing that as quickly as we can. We've added 15 more schools in the last couple of months. We see that area as a real area that we can make real difference, and the food we give, not to necessarily go further, to make a bigger impact, to grab those kids while they're really into it, and it's an environmental piece for them, not not a food poverty, food waste thing. It's an environmental issue.
Yes, yes. I've seen today from our tour of the premises here the quality of the food that you're producing and the variety as well, and that's commendable to you. You say the food you get it from organisations. I know you've also helped us in our gleaning program that the Lions run across the well, certainly the southeast and the east of the country. Is that beneficial to you working with organisations like the Lions?
So I think the gleaning, and we've rebranded as Farm Rescue, but I think the gleaning has been, since I walked through the door just over 3 years ago, it's been one of the most important areas that we work within. We put resource onto it, proper resource onto it about a year or so ago. Before that, the whole organisation used to get involved in gleaning. We got more than 10 people able to run gleans. We got more than health and safety, all that sort of thing. Beyond all that, beyond the engagement, which is really important, people going out, people love to do it. It's a really good collaborative thing to go and do. Beyond all of that, it's so fresh. We've had potato. We can go and take potatoes from a glean in Oxfordshire. We can bring them back to our depot. 2-3 weeks later, they're absolutely fine. Onions as well. Onions particularly, we've held them for 2-3 months in the right condition.
Yes.
We've got perfect conditions in here. We've got freezers, chillers, whatever we need to keep things fresh and right. And what that does is brings back in control of the supply chain. You'll look out there and you'll see some things that have to come in and go out, particularly there. Just say we've got some fresh salad, which is probably needs to get straight back out the door, maybe even this afternoon. So it'll come in this morning.
I can see the vans outside now,
exactly
ready to.
So that'll come in this morning on one of our own vans, and it'll be identified very quickly that used by date's tomorrow. So it's not best before, it's a used by it's tomorrow. We've got to get that back out, back to a charity that can reuse it and make good use of it. We're out of control in an element of the supply chain then, we're reacting. But what we're doing when we're gleaning is we're proactive, we're creating environments in which we can control. So surplus food by its very nature is inconsistent. We've got a good day today, we're in a good week actually, a good period, we've got lots of food around us, really important to do that, but sometimes we don't. So if we've got a pallet of onions in our racking that's been there, exactly. We would obviously check it again. It gets 2 checks before it even hits the rack, and it will get checked again and constantly checked for it. With them back in control, we've got them onions to supply, and when we've got a dip in supply for whatever reason, whether it be weather, whatever, changing seasons. So that's why it's one of the most important areas. Another reason, it is potentially the most, it's potentially where the most amount of food is being wasted in our farms. For various reasons, it's reported in different ways, and I don't think as a nation we potentially have a handle on the amount that is being wasted. And I don't think that's anybody's fault. It's not the farmer's fault, it's not our fault. But this is something that we're all working towards with organisations like yourselves.
Okay, thank you for that. Can you also share with us your thoughts on how going forward you can work with organisations like the Lions Club and other organisations as well?
I think local organisations is how we grow our gleaning farm rescue operation. I don't think we do what we do very well. We act as that logistics arm, if you like, between charities and the food industry. We can support with logistics, we can support with coordination, health and safety, facilities, etc., etc. If we make this a success, though, we can't be at 10 farms in a day, which should be what success looks like, especially in, say, September or something like that. We have to work with local organisations and bring them along, and we have to make sure the food isn't all just brought back to London. If we're coming outside of London, we have to ensure that that food stays in the communities as well where it's needed, whether that be Kent or further afield like Dorset. We've been to all sorts of different places when it's needed. So I think it's the future, and it's the only way that this can work and grow as it should.
Okay, thank you. I can also see today that you're reliant on quite a large workforce, understandably, with a lot of different skills, bringing the produce in, storing it, controlling it, preparing it for the ready meals that you make, and packing up the vans, and obviously drivers to go out. So I can see you've got obviously a need to get as much volunteer workforce as you can, and I was chatting to one gentleman earlier He comes in on a Thursday, so it's not a huge overhead to some people just to give them 1 day a week. So I can see there's great opportunities there for people to volunteer to help out. And I also saw you've got a large corporate in today helping you for the day. So there are opportunities out there for people to help in any way they can. I can see that, and with your 4 depots around London, I'm sure there must be plenty of opportunities.
Well, particularly here as well, so we've got the kitchen, as you say, and the depot, and driving, so it can be a real mixture, and different skill sets can find something to do.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for your hospitality today and an insight into the Felix project.
Thank you.
Greatly appreciate it.
Cheers.
So moving swiftly through, we're now with the recipients. This is the first of the recipients we're going to meet. This is Still Good Food. I mentioned them previously. They're based in Bury St Edmunds, and what they do, they've got 2 venues, and these are shops that they're essentially environmental projects rather than hunger projects. And the concept is that people can come in, they buy a bag for £1, and they can fill that bag with produce from either of the 2 shops. But what I love about this is the hidden benefits that you don't really think about. But when you stand and watch this in action, you see people queuing up together, that queue up together maybe every week or every couple of days, and they know each other, and they talk about, you know, how they've been getting on and what they've been up to. And if someone's not there, they're asking, where's Beryl? Or whoever's missing. They know, they care about each other. There's a real social network, and that doesn't stop when you get to the volunteers in the shop either. Each person, each client comes into the shop on their own, one at a time, and they get to have a chat with the volunteer, and the volunteers know each and every one of them and care about each and every one of them. So it's not just about environment, it's not just about hunger, it's about caring for people and social inclusion. So let's have a little look at a video with Roz. Roz is one of the founders. So here's the next video. I hope you enjoy it.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Chris, Lion Chris. I'm here today at Bury St Edmunds Still Good Food with Roz. Roz, can you tell me a little bit about Still Good Food, please?
Yes, I can, Chris. Welcome to Still Good Food. This is one of our 2 outlets. We're here at the moment at the Freedom Church in Great Barton. We opened this shop last year. Our shop in town was opened in February 2017. Both shops are doing incredibly well. We get surplus food that is either approaching or past its best before date through Fair Share, and we get that food from Tesco's, Asda, Waitrose. We're also doing some work with Sainsbury's. We have teams of volunteer driver collectors and teams of shop volunteers, and the driver collectors go out, they get an app and they get a notification, they go out, they bring it back to both shops, both this one and our shop in town, and we're open 6 days a week for 2 hours each session. And we are addressing the environmental impact of food waste and also food poverty at the moment with COVID.
That's fantastic. Now, when we arrived this morning around 10 o'clock, I noticed there was a queue of people waiting outside. How many people have you had here today?
Today looked like it was a very busy day, and it's about 32 to 35 people today, and that's probably that's a little bit more than the average for the daily number we get at each shop. So we're helping sort of around in between 25 and 32 individuals and families every day, you know, in Great Barton and Bury St Edmunds, to get affordable food and of course the environmental impact.
Yeah, I think it's really important that this is not just a food bank, is it? It's more about the environmental impact of saving food from being wasted rather than a pure out-and-out food bank. Is that correct?
That's absolutely true. When we started back in August 17, we came together as a group really to address the negative environmental impact that food waste causes. 4.5 million tonnes of edible food, being the important word, is put into landfill every year, which is absolutely crazy, and it is emitting toxins, gases emissions, CO2 emissions. So we were about impacting in a positive way, and bringing that down. And luckily, because we have been able to help with the issue of food poverty, when COVID came about, many people were furloughed, lost their jobs, all sorts of reasons. So we've actually been able to address food poverty as well. But we are initially an environmental project, but it's great that we can help both elements.
Yeah, you talk about sort of food waste. Food waste, if it was a country, would be the third largest emitter after the US and China. And we met, didn't we, through gleaning.
That's right.
You contacted me about gleaning, and we managed to get out and do some gleans. We've done some onions and we've done some leeks.
Been fantastic. Been fantastic, Chris, because I come from a farming background, and obviously working on this project, I've been very keen to work with farm surplus.
But we've still got some here.
Yeah, still got some
Months
there.
later, still here.
So I went on to the Feedback website, which is a big nationwide, in fact, global website that addresses food waste across the whole globe. And it was you that was on that website as the Eastern Regional Coordinator, Gleaning Coordinator. So I got in contact with you, and with my contacts here in East Anglia with some farmers, together with Kate from the Felix Project, we've been able to go out onto farms. I first met you when we did an onion glean from a farmer I know near Ely in Cambridgeshire, and we got a tonne each, and Kate got over a tonne. So that was fantastic, and we brought them back into the shop, and they're still going, the onions. We've done apples, we've done leeks as well. So
and pumpkins as well. We brought you some pumpkins as well, didn't we?
You brought pumpkins. We met in down the market, and had our boots open and did a bit of a pass over. So yeah, it's been brilliant, because you've been able to make my gleaning dream come true, because I can't do it all by myself. So linking up with people like you and Kate is just brilliant, because it can actually make it happen.
It's nice to know you've got a gleaning dream too. And we know that Kate has as well, that you've referenced a number of times from the Felix Project. And hopefully very soon we'll be visiting the Felix Project together to learn more about what they do, and we'll be interviewing that. So look forward to seeing everybody again in fairly soon on another interview with Kate from the Felix Project.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Thank you, Ros.
Cheers, Chris.
So here we have our second recipient, Food for All, based in London. I first came across the founder, Peter O'Grady, also known as Para, on one of our Feed the 5000 events. Para came along with some of his colleagues to help us cook for our big events. So he brings big cooking pots like the one you can see in the bottom picture, and we create real big theatrical cooking days. And I just wanted to go and see what he does, where he's based, and basically lend a hand. So Sue and I went down there and we did a bit of food prep, and we went out and served a few people. But this guy is an absolutely phenomenal guy. He's not satisfied with what he does in London. He's currently been travelling out to and from the Ukraine, setting up field kitchens out on the Polish border, and actually getting into Ukraine itself. But let's have a little look at a video clip I took when we were down in London recently.
Hi, it's Lion Chris Hibbert here, down in London at a project called Food for All, right next door to Goldman Sachs of all places. I've just been chopping potatoes and parsnips and sorting some tomatoes out for a great meal tomorrow. And we're just about to go out and help feed the homeless. These guys feed around 2,000 people every day. During the pandemic, they fed around 5,000 people every day. So absolutely incredible what's going on here. Loads of volunteers just coming in, do an hour, a bit of chopping, bit of serving, whatever they want to do. Really light-hearted, a lot of fun. And there's food literally everywhere. Everywhere I look, there's food. There's been food coming in again this morning in vans. This is all food that would have been going to waste. So again, what an amazing project. This is right in the heart of our capital city, feeding the homeless. So more from me later, hopefully, when we actually get out there and start feeding some people. Okay, see you later. Bye. We're now down in Camden. We've just been to Kentish Town and fed 30 or 40 people some delicious food, some fantastic curry and rice. We've got some plantain pakoras, vegetables, we've tried fruit, we've got plums, apples, satsumas, all sorts being given away. Going really well. We've got Sue over here, if I can find her. There she is. And behind her we've got the 2 hot boxes. In one of the hot boxes we've got the curry, and in the other hot box
Thanks so much for everything. Have a lovely day.
we've got rice.
Take care.
So going really well. Got one more stop to do at King's Cross, and then back to unload at the depot near Goldman Sachs. So it's going great. Absolutely fantastic what these guys do on a daily basis. Just a privilege to be able to help and help these people out. So hopefully we'll see you again soon. Over and out. Bye.